Let's read this passage now. I first noticed our national lurch towards fantasy in 2004 after President George W. Bush's political mastermind, Karl Rove, came up with the remarkable phrase reality-based community. People in the reality-based community, he told a reporter. So this is the phrase that Karl Rove came out with. People in the reality-based community, he told a reporter, believe that solutions emerge from your judicious study of discernible reality. That's not the world. That's not the way the world really works anymore. That's not the way the world works really anymore. A year later, the Colbert Report went on the air. In the first few minutes of the first episode, Stephen Colbert, playing his right-wing populist commentator character, performed a feature called The Word. His first selection, truthiness. And that's not even a word, right? Now, I'm sure some of the word police, the wordinistas over the Websters are going to say, hey, that's not a word. Well, anybody who knows me knows that I'm no fan of dictionaries or reference books. They're elitist, constantly telling us what is or isn't true, or what did or didn't happen. Who's Britannica to tell me that the Panama Canal was finished in 1914? If I want to say it happened in 1941, that's my right. I don't trust books. They're all fact, no heart. Face it, folks, we are a divided nation, divided between those who think with their head and those who know with their heart. Because that's where the truth comes from, ladies and gentlemen, the gut. Okay. Wow. Yes, I thought exactly. America had changed since I was young. Where truthiness in reality-based community wouldn't have made any sense as jokes. For all the fun and all the many salutary effects of the 1960s, the main decade of my childhood, I saw that those years had also been the Big Bang moment for truthiness. What does the author mean by this? You know the Big Bang Theory? Big Bang Theory is how the world came into existence. So when I say the Big Bang moment for truthiness, that's when people started accepting words which did not even exist. And if the 60s amounted to a national nervous breakdown, we are probably mistaken to consider ourselves over it. So we're still not over it. Okay, the breakdown continues. Each of us is on a spectrum somewhere between the poles of rational and irrational. We all have hunches we can't prove, okay? So just a gut feeling, you can't prove it. And superstitions that make no sense. Some of my best friends are very religious and others believe in dubious conspiracy theories. What's problematic is going overboard. Letting the subjective entirely override the objective. Thinking and acting as if opinions and feelings are just as true as facts. The American experiment, the original embodiment of the great Enlightenment idea of intellectual freedom, whereby every individual is welcome to believe anything she wishes, has metastasized out of control. So yeah, you could have your own beliefs, but this is now going overboard, out of control. I think this is the main idea of the passage. Yeah. From the start, our ultra-individualism was attached to epic dreams, sometimes epic fantasies. Only American, one of God's chosen people building a custom-made utopia. All of us free to invent ourselves by imagination and will. In America, nowadays, those more exciting parts of the Enlightenment idea have swamped the sober, rational, empirical parts. So people do not believe in facts anymore. They just believe what they want to believe. Okay? Little by little for centuries, then more and more, faster and faster during the past half century, we Americans have given ourselves to all kinds of magical thinking, anything goes relativism and belief in fanciful explanation, small and large fantasies that console or thrill or terrify us. And most of us haven't realized how far-reaching our strange new normal has become. That's the problem. So the author is saying that America nowadays is on the crux. They've come to believe in whatever they want to believe without any empirical evidence of it. They are no more willing to believe in facts, but they believe in just whatever they wish to believe in, because that's what was said. You know, those who know which way the heart. So yeah, That's the main idea of the passage, that over a period of time, Americans have gotten into the belief system of believing whatever they want to, rather than choosing empirical facts and data. Okay, the first question. In the context of the evolution of American cultural ethos as delineated in the passage, which assertion best encapsulates the trajectory of change observed? So you're saying change has happened over a period of time. There has been a steadfast perpetuation of cultural norms across several generations, undisturbed by the passage of time. So we are not talking about perpetuation of cultural norms, we are talking about perpetuation of beliefs, individual beliefs. Also, it is not undisturbed by the passage of time. If you see over the last half of the century, it has increased. This has fastened. B says a discernible cultural shift has manifested, privileging subjective personal convictions over the veracity of empirical data. Yes, that's what's happened. Privileging subjective personal convictions over the veracity of empirical data. Veracity is the truthfulness. B looks good. B is actually what we're looking for. C says the American cultural milieu has increasingly synchronized with global benchmarks of logical empiricism. No, empiricism is actually missing, so we can eliminate C. A trend towards deprioritizing the ethos of rugged individualism in favor of collective societal doctrines as evident. This is deprioritizing the ethos of rugged individualism. We're not deprioritizing. In fact, if anything, they are prioritizing individualism. He says there has been a complete rejection of historical narratives in favor of the present day interpretations. This is too far-fetched. We don't know whether there has been a complete rejection of historical narratives. Option B is your best answer. Within the contemporary American societal context, which principle does the author infer has been egregiously misapprehended? So what have they missed out on? Egregiously is outstandingly bad. I think A is what they're missing out on. The intrinsic worth of empirical substantiation and the validation of truth. Yes, that's what they're not doing. They're not looking at any experiment. They're just believing what they want to believe. A is what has been misapprehended. Let's take a look at the other options. B says the pivotal role of academic achievement within the societal hierarchy. We haven't discussed academic achievements anywhere in the passage. C says the omnipresence and influence of technological advancements in shaping daily existence. We have not discussed technological advancements either. D says the paramount impact of political factionalism and the collective societal conscience. We have not discussed political factionalism. Also, we're not talking about collective conscience. We're talking about individualism and individual beliefs. What have they missed out on? They've missed out on empirical substantiation. So A is the best answer so far. E says the necessity of maintaining a historical perspective when interpreting current events. This has also not been discussed. What have they missed out on? An intrinsic worth of empirical substantiation in the validation of truth, right? A has been misapprehended. How is the alteration in the American conceptualization of veracity and reality depicted within the passage? A says as an evolutionary leap towards a more enlightened and informed societal structure. Far from it, okay? We are not enlightened or informed, we are just believing what we want to believe. B says as a benign transformation of reflective of inherent dynamism of societal progression. Reflective inherent of societal progression, we don't know whether society has progressed or not. See, as a deleterious trend characterized by ascendancy of emotional convictions over factual accuracy. That's exactly what has happened. This is how the American conceptualization of veracity has altered. D says, as an unavoidable consequence of the proliferation of advanced technological modalities. We have not discussed technological modalities anywhere. E says, as a positive shift towards greater inclusivity of diverse perspectives. Greater inclusivity of diverse perspectives is very different from having individual opinions without having them verified, right? Also, it's not a positive shift. Option C is your best answer. Extrapolating from the discourse, what might be the ramifications of truthiness trend on the future fabric of American society? Truthiness trend. A potential recalibration towards a society anchored more firmly in scientific empiricism. See, truthiness is given as a word because it's not even a word, but they just threw it out there and they said, we'll believe in what we want to. It is far from scientific empiricism, right? B says, an exacerbation of societal fissures predicated upon divergent belief system. Exacerbation is making things worse. Yes, upon divergent belief systems. Everybody has his or her own belief, right? The divergent belief system will exacerbate the societal fissure. B is the best answer. C says, a reinvigorated collective esteem for conventional media as arbiters of truth. Conventional media as arbiters of truth. In fact, we are not following the truth at all. D says, a regression from the valorization of individualism towards a paradigm of collectivist ideology. This is quite the opposite of what is being said. It says valorization of individualism. No, individualism is on the charts. It is not regressing. E says, an increased reliance of governmental institutions for the determination of factual accuracy. There is no reliance on anything for factual accuracy, leave alone government institutions. So option B is your best answer.